months into the pandemic, we've learned a few things about the virus and our schools.
Schools are relatively low-risk environments for kids and for educators.
I think, we know we need to get the kids back in.
We have always supported a safe return to in-person learning.
The only hurdle is how. Tonight, our state's top education minds are laying out the plan. And Denver7 goes 360 with perspective from everyone affected.
The Moderna vaccine is speeding toward approval, and tonight we know the key differences between who gets which vaccine. And we are answering your vaccine questions ahead of tonight's Denver7 Town Hall with the governor.
It is the one area many of us agree on. The back and forth way schools have handled last semester just isn't sustainable.
Well, the entire state is looking ahead to next semester and making plans for a smoother experience. Tonight, Denver7 is going to take a 360 look with perspectives from parents, teachers, and superintendents from across Colorado.
And we begin tonight with Governor Polis and his roadmap to in-person learning. Here is Denver7's Jessica Porter.
What has been occurring this last semester simply hasn't worked.
Governor Polis says school is the safest place for students. His plan to get students back into the classroom includes expanding contact tracing, mask wearing, symptom screening, effective cohorting, and good hygiene. The key to that plan is testing.
When we're talking about school settings, we want to make sure that we can turn around that test result as quickly as possible. And so right now with that rapid technology, we have the ability to do that 24 hours or less.
New CDC guidelines have shortened quarantining. Now students and staff who are in contact with an infected person can go back to school after 7 days with a negative test rather than 14. Polis stresses the focus is on bringing students back full time, not extracurricular activities.
Athletics and music and art, science fairs, theater only occur once the kids are back. Full-time or hybrid in-person is underway with minimal disruptions.
Teachers are in phase 2 of the vaccination plan. Polis says they'll start to get inoculated in March or April. Those vaccinations won't affect what happens in the spring semester, but will have huge impacts on school returning to normal in the summer and fall. Until then, it's up to everyone to reduce community spread.
It's going to take all of us to ensure that our kids can safely return to school. It's not just up to educators and school staff, but students and parents to be responsible, entire communities, mask wearing, social distancing.
Jessica Porter, Denver7.
Our next 360 perspective comes from the Colorado Education Association. That's the state's largest teachers union. President Amy Baca-Ohlert emphasized the need for a vaccine to make schools truly safe. In the meantime, she says the governor needs to provide schools with the support they need.
Without PPE, without those resources so that districts can address things like ventilation, distancing, without access to cleaning supplies and quality disinfectant, it will not be safe for in-person.
School administrators, like teachers and the governor, want the kids back in the classroom and safely. And today I sat down with the outgoing superintendent of Denver Public Schools, Susana Cordova. And during our wide-ranging conversation, I asked her for perspective on coronavirus in schools.
I think we've seen COVID is not spreading in our schools, and kids desperately need the support that they get from in-person instruction. We can do it safely. We can keep our teachers safe. We can keep our leaders safe. That's probably one of my biggest regrets.
Cordova wishes she'd brought kids back at the beginning of fall semester when cases were at a low point.
And the superintendents of Colorado's biggest districts met today to lay out their plans for next semester.
Denver7's CB Cotton joins us now with their perspective. CB?
Ann and Shannon, well, there's nearly 400,000 students in the Denver metro area, and this afternoon district leaders agreed those students are best served learning in the classroom. So now they're hoping a plan called layered protection will help get students back in school. Educators across the metro have one common goal.
Our collective belief and goal are clear. We all want students in classrooms with excellent Colorado teachers.
On Tuesday, Dr. Scott Siegfried, superintendent of Cherry Creek Schools, joined by other superintendents and public health officials, shared why a return to in-person learning is possible.
We now know that schools do not meaningfully contribute to the spread of COVID, and that's very important. We are not a super spreader environment.
Denver Public Health says young children have lower risk of contracting and transmitting COVID-19. They also say with various tools, students and teachers can be kept safe.
What we call layered protection works. No single layer is adequate by itself. When we add them all up, they can provide a high degree of protection from transmission.
Layered protection is a long list of mitigation practices to include symptom screening and testing. A partnership with COVID Check Colorado will provide free testing with fast results to students and teachers.
But if you have a student who's been exposed, they could come at day 5, get access to a test by day 7, get results back.
In addition, new CDC guidelines may help keep classrooms full.
Students and staff will have the ability to test out of quarantines on day 7. This strategy will allow students and staff to safely return to class sooner.
Superintendents say they're also advocating for teachers to be vaccinated at the immediate start of phase 2. Educators are hopeful that layered protection will help them achieve one common goal.
That schools can be safe during the pandemic.
Now, this afternoon, Governor Jared Polis was asked in a press conference why teachers wouldn't be vaccinated any sooner than phase 2. He says right now it's a priority to vaccinate those with the highest fatality rates and those most at risk to exposure. So that includes the elderly and first responders. We're live in Denver this evening. I'm CB Cotton, Denver7.
CB Cotton tonight. Thank you very much, CB. Now, the parents we spoke to today applauded any plan to get kids back into the classroom faster. And for the most part, they say they feel the same way as viewer Thomas, who wrote to us, "I just want a good education for my son. The current model is severely lacking, starting with too many different technologies and lack of training for teachers to use them effectively." So let us know if we missed your perspective in our reporting today. Send us a message on Facebook or Instagram.
And tragically, the COVID death toll is climbing rapidly here in Colorado. 132 new COVID deaths were reported today, bringing our total above 3,200. Now, the good news is the number of people hospitalized with COVID or COVID symptoms fell again today. 1,554 hospital beds are now in use. That is the lowest number in nearly a month. The first over-the-counter COVID test received FDA approval today. The nasal swab tests are already available via prescription. 20 million doses will be shipped in the first half of next year.
Today, the governor laid out new information about the way the vaccine will be distributed. Frontline workers will continue to get priority for the Pfizer vaccine. The Moderna vaccine, which should arrive next week, will be prioritized for nursing homes and similar high-risk populations. The reason is related to the storage freezers.
Hospitals have these freezers, and so they're generally going to healthcare workers for the Pfizer vaccine. Moderna, it's much easier to distribute because they can be kept in normal freezer conditions like your frozen food.
The first shipment of the Moderna vaccine will include about 100,000 doses.
And I will be talking to Governor Jared Polis and other health experts as part of a town hall discussion at 6:30 tonight. We have already received an overwhelming number of questions like, is the vaccine effective if you only get one shot?
The way randomized controlled trials are set up is that they ask people to follow a protocol, right? So they've tried to make sure that everyone in this study who is supposed to get 2 shots got 2 shots, and they look at how effective it is if they get those 2 shots. Get 2 shots. Don't mess around and just get one. Especially because the vaccine is so scarce right now, that if you have the privilege of being able to vaccinate it, do it right, for crying out loud. For all of us who sit at the back of the line, right? Because we are not the high priority people.
And listen, we know you have questions and you can still submit them to 360@thedenverchannel.com.
Temperatures are going to drop fast tonight. I'll let you know how low it's going to go.
Restaurants could get relief soon. The state's new plan to help the struggling industry.
And the man who lost an eye trying to stop a criminal is getting a new set of wheels thanks to Denver7 Gives.
So everybody out there who gave to me, I just want to say thank you.